Another NXT special has come and gone, and now I'm here to go ahead and give my thoughts on the special. Starting off with, it was really late. It was nighttime in the UK. It was prime time television at their place, whereas it was here. It was simply 2:30 in the afternoon for me. Um, Once again, NXT knocks it out of the park. Like another home run. I can't picture NXT producing one bad episode. Even the quote bad episodes of NXT are more entertaining than Raw and SmackDown. Mostly Raw. SmackDown's just a recap show nowadays. Shame. But besides that, it was a really entertaining special, and how we had a total of 5 matches to fill up 2 hours. Like, there was no filler, there was no pointless angles that were blah blah blah. There was no, oh, this that, there's this that, or jobber matches. No, instead we got the direct matches, we got build up, we got suspense, we got a tease for another NXT feud coming up. And the one thing that kind of disappointed me about the show was the fact that they could have brung back Sami Zayn. I'm like, he's coming back next week, but they could have brung him back tonight. That would have been awesome. Like, I know they taped it already, but it would have been awesome to see Sami Zayn show up. Like, say, I'll be returning to the ring next week and cutting a promo. Like, I would have been okay with that. I really wish Sami Zayn had came back. So that's like my only complaint about the show. So let's get down with it. Oxna, I'm pretty sure I pronounced that wrong. Oxna and versus Emma was a match everyone been wanting to see for a bit, since they built it up for the last several months since NXT Respect, and it certainly delivered, in my opinion. It certainly delivered. You had Dana Brooke and constantly screaming, like, I just kept saying, "Oh my God, Oxna, can you shut her up, please?" And sadly, that didn't happen. The referee had to throw her out. I was really hoping for Asuna to kick, just roundhouse kick down a Brooke. I'm pretty sure I got the move wrong, but to me it looked like the roundhouse kick. So there's that, and Emma tried to cheat her way to victory, and I have to be honest, I'm really impressed with this transformation Emma has gone through. Like she was already popular enough as it is to get this baby face role, this role as a face, and I was really surprised how far she's come along as a heel. Like, I didn't see that coming, and considering how she was on the main roster, I can understand why she eventually snapped and became a evil character. Like, seriously, like Santino, like pairing up with Santino, you already know your career's not going to go anywhere with that angle. So go back to NXT and reinvent yourself, pretty much. And then that happened. So it was a very entertaining opening bout. I was really impressed by it, and they gave it 15 minutes at most in this match. And let's get to the next match, the tag team match between Dash Wilder, Scott Dawson versus Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy with Carmella. Oh my God, I was really hyped for this match. Like, Enzo Amore and Colin and Big Cass, as he's also called, cut a very great promo on NXT last week before the show. So heading into this match, I was thinking, okay, maybe they're gonna actually throw a curveball and actually they might actually let Enzo and Colin win, because I was all pretty much all for it since they delivered this promo, and normally when that's shown on main roster television, that signals, yeah, they're gonna win. And I was given a twist. Like, they didn't win, the heels won. They won cleanly, and especially after that passionate promo they gave, like, I'm pretty sure everyone thought, oh, they're gonna win. They're gonna obviously lose the tag team belts, and Enzo and Cass are gonna win, and they didn't. And I would have been okay if they had won, considering how great the match was. Like Enzo Amore has really improved from being just this talking voice, where he had some athletic ability, but really when he wrestled, it wasn't really good. But he's really come a long way since when I last time saw him on NXT Takeover in a match. I kind of haven't really watched the tapes because like, I would watch them from time to time, so I wouldn't really know Enzo's skills yet. Like, they're usually short matches, and they don't really let Enzo get in there much. Like, they let Colin do the work. So to see Enzo and Cass team up and switch teams, switch every tag in and out every once in a while, like that was awesome. Um, Dash and Scott really showed their impressive abilities in the ring, and it was so awesome to see, especially how the match ended with that high flying maneuver they did. Like, oh my god, I haven't. This is like a different, improved version of the Dudley 3D, except in high flying mode, whereas they just get in the air and then just crash down. This one looked more like they were high flying version of the Dudley 3D. And now I'm curious to see, how would Dash versus Scott go down against the Dudleys? Like, I'm still waiting for Luke Harper and Eric Rowan to fight the Dudleys, but I want to see how this match goes. So there's that. And the tag team match, I thought at the time at least, okay, this is gonna steal the show. Like, we haven't seen Nina Jax go in this kind of match length yet with Bayley and Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews, and there was also Finn Balor and Samoa Joe also capable of stealing the show. But I thought maybe this actually will steal the show. The main event did, in my opinion, but this was the second best match of the night. Now let's get to Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews. I was surprised of the direction they went. Like, I came into the show thinking Apollo Crews is going to win. Like, they wouldn't let him lose his first match so soon, and turns out they actually lost, and I was surprised by that. Like, I'm wondering, oh, what are they going to do with Baron Corbin now? Is this going to be a call-up soon, and they wanted to give him a grand farewell, or or make Baron Corbin a threat to Finn Balor later on? Like, they've certainly been hinting at that from what I've gathered. They hinted at him going out to the NXT Championship since he's been tag team with Samoa Joe and taking on Finn Balor occasionally. So I thought maybe they're going to do that. So, and I especially am curious how, and this is the same thing in all the matches, how they repeatedly use their finishers and they kept kicking out. Like, they would use it once or twice, not as 3 times or 4 times like John Cena and Kevin Owens did this year. Seriously, still wish the match ended differently at Battleground, but I digress. So it made for some shocking moments, like Apollo Crews did his flip maneuver, and I was surprised that he kicked out. Like, I initially thought, oh, that's the end of the match. And then Baron Corbin kicked out, and we got to see this aggressive side to Apollo Crews, and I was like, okay, this is a new direction for his character, and also proves why John Cena needs to change up his character or add some new aggression element, not just be happy-go-lucky. But Apollo Crews, like I was skeptical about the name Apollo Crews, but the name's kind of grown on me, especially with Finn Balor's name. Like, they kind of grown on me. Like, I'm still not convinced how a name called Finn in Star Wars will make sense, but but it's grown on me for Finn Balor and Apollo Crews. So Apollo Crews and Baron Corbin was like the fourth. Like, it's hard to really say which was the worst match. Like, all the matches were great in my opinion. It's hard to picture a bad match because a bad match in NXT is much better than a match on the main roster. Like, you would see bad matches on the main roster, but when it comes to NXT, they're kind of always with this whole, this match was the least good. Like, it was still good, but it's still interesting and still rewatchable. Whereas the main roster, they just put jobbers or make card acts and do stupid things. So there's that. It kind of shows a big difference between NXT and WWE, and makes you forget once in a while that they're part of the same brand and company. So there was that. So now the match I was really looking forward to was Bayley versus Nina Jax. Like, Nina Jax hasn't really been able to show that much of herself lately, and like, we only saw her be a dominant monster. And here's the thing I kept wondering, like, wait, I don't know why, but every time I see Nina Jax, I always picture her doing the Kevin Nash's jackknife powerbomb. I don't know why. It just feels like that. It always got me that vibe. Like, yeah, she would do the jackknife powerbomb better, possibly better than Kevin Nash. Like, Kevin Nash established the jackknife powerbomb, but I would love to see Nina Jax inherit it. So I was really thinking maybe Nina Jax might do a powerbomb like that on Bayley, and considering how Nia Jax, some people compared her push to Kevin Owens, destroying the competition and pretty much getting her way into the NXT championship, the NXT Women's Championship. I thought history might repeat so with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn, with Bayley and Nia Jax. Like, Sami Zayn and Bayley had a lot in common, and now Kevin Owens and Nia Jax might be the ones that would repeat history again. So, and I was surprised that Bayley. I wasn't surprised Bayley won because it showed early into her reign, but I kind of was rooting for Nia Jax at times, and I was surprised how it ended. I was expecting it to be a pinfall, but not a submission, because I just feel like whenever they book a monster heel, it's hard to really imagine them tapping out. Like, I always thought, or unstop, or this badass wrestler they book like Kevin Owens was. Like, it's always hard for me to imagine them. Okay, there's suspension of disbelief, and then there's GTFO when it comes to them tapping out. Like how I kept saying, like, Kevin Owens should have passed out, maybe Nia Jax should have passed out, like it could have protected her. I just felt like I just can't imagine her tapping out or Kevin Owens tapping out. Like, pinfall, I get it, that's inevitable, but tapping out, like, they could have saved that way later, and when their established vicious side is lessened by incompetent booking later on the main roster, because, well, that's inevitable. So I felt like she should have passed out, considering that she was put in submission 3 times. And I can't help but feel like Bayley and Nina Jax had some botched moments in the match. Like Nina Jax is just standing there and then goes down, and then she gets caught in the submission and the guillotine cross, the guillotine move. I can't pronounce I can't remember the last name of it, but I get feeling like they botched it somewhat. Like, every time she got up and slammed herself down, like, I was wondering, okay, is this the part where she's gonna do the leg drop and win the match? But no, she just got back down and just got caught in it again. So I was thinking, did they botch something there, or was that supposed to happen only once? But considering how Bayley's been booked so far, like the botching didn't really bother me as much. It just confused me at times. So I really had a hard time trying to buy that. Like, was something else supposed to happen, or did something go wrong? Like, this happened 3 times, and Nina Jax is not stupid. Like, she looks like she's capable and smart, and is able to understand that this plan is not going to work, so do something different, not just go down close to her and see if she's unconscious. And I, and that's pretty much it on that. So let's get, and before I get to the main event, let me just point out that before the match of Nia Jax versus Bayley happened, Nia Jax is cutting this promo backstage earlier tonight. It was recorded. Earlier today was recorded, and Oxna is in the background staring at her, and she gives that wicked smile on her face that rivals that of the Joker sometimes to me, and that made me say, "Yep, she's Nina Jax is next. Oxna is now Nina Jax's next target." Can't wait to see how that feud's gonna go. So now let's get to the big main event, and okay, let me just say, it stole the show in my opinion, and it was Samoa Joe's best match on NXT so far. Like, it's Finn Balor versus Samoa Joe. Like, I think a lot of fans had dreamed this in the Indies scene, and it finally happened on WWE programming, NXT at best as well. And I was really thinking that Samoa Joe was gonna actually win this match. Like, they kept looking like, and I was also concerned about the Buster move, because what happened to Tyson Kidd. Like, so far Samoa Joe's done well with it, but to see it again after what happened to Tyson Kidd, I was like, okay, let's hope this doesn't botch. So, like, I didn't blame Samoa Joe for what happened to Tyson Kidd. Like, it was just a bad botch all around. It was no one's fault. No one's to blame for this. It was just a simple botch. It was an accident. So I didn't blame him one bit for that incident, as some people did. So, like, Finn Balor and Samoa Joe, they killed it with the 20-minute match they had. It was awesome, and I was really thinking Samoa Joe was going to win this match at times. Like, are they gonna, like, it's been since, and they like gave hints at that Samoa Joe might win it, but it turns out Finn Balor won, and I would have been also surprised if Samoa Joe won, since, well, they had Baron Corbin beat Apollo Crews, so maybe they'll do this with Samoa Joe, and turns out it was Finn Balor wins. And how they kept using, and Finn Balor like did his finisher like 3 times, attempted a fourth one and missed it when Samoa Joe got out of the way. But I felt like this match was very personal. Like, I know it's personal since 10 years of friendship is destroyed, and Samoa Joe now Finn Balor wants to kill each other, and Finn Balor tried to crush Samoa Joe's head and chest in by stomping on him onto the steel steps, which Finn Balor missed since Samoa Joe got out of the way. And I was so impressed by the match. Like, Samoa Joe had his best match there, and like, just like with Luke Harper, since I didn't see him in the indie scene, I was surprised that this guy is like 300 pounds, and yet he's able to do a suicide dive. Samoa Joe pretty much did a suicide dive to an extent. It wasn't really much of a suicide dive. It didn't look like it. I can't pronounce it. I don't think I have the name for it. So I just called it the suicide dive. But like, I was overall like, wow. Like, these are the most athletic guys, big 300-pounders I've seen. Like Luke Harper, Samoa Joe, and like, I watched TNA at times. Like, I haven't watched it in a few years now. Like, I would get tidbits of it, and I haven't seen Samoa Joe really show himself in TNA. So in the episodes I saw, at least, so I didn't really get a full result of Samoa Joe's abilities. But I knew Samoa Joe was good since he had classic matches with CM Punk in the Indies and Ring of Honor specifically, and so I would expect, yeah, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, it could be like that. And they certainly delivered with their match. Like, you had this sense of personal vendetta, and now the friendship's destroyed, and now this bond they once had ended. And at the end of it, I was thinking, like, when Finn Balor won, there was 3 things that came to mind when I was seeing the aftermath. One, I was expecting Samoa Joe to come up and shake hands with Finn Balor, and that didn't happen, so that might save in store for a future rematch. 2, yeah, it just kind of looked awkward for about a couple of minutes. Like it looked like Finn Balor was supposed to celebrate. And 3, I think he might have gotten concussion because the doctors kept checking him up, and it looked like the ending was supposed to happen a little bit earlier, and now it just was confusing for them. So I kind of took numbers like, did Finn Balor get a concussion? Like, it certainly looked like he got a concussion. It was hard to tell. Like, I'm not a doctor, so I wouldn't know. It just felt like he got a concussion after the match. Like, the doctors kept evaluating him, and I really loved the vibe of the audience, how they kept making more new chants, and how they did. I'm trying to remember which one was it, Bailey or the tag team match that were chanting for. We're basically using the classic ole 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 ole, and they used it. I think it was on Bailey, and used their own and changed it up a bit to give Bailey her own version of it. I think it was in that match, but it was just like, yeah, Bailey's the the female version of Sami Zayn in NXT, and I can't wait what's going to happen later down the road for Bailey. The audience was great. The energy was high. I was on fire. It was awesome, and I was on the edge of my seat watching all these matches. Like, I rarely get that nowadays on the main roster, unless it's a match with Cena, because I want the guy to win, and not Cena to win again, because that's overcoming the odds again. And I did get annoyed when they kept saying overcome the odds, because every time I hear that, it's just, oh god, I hate Cena so much. So that's like my other complaint to the commentary, but it's the commentary of NXT. It's way better than the main roster by miles ahead of it, light years even. So that was my thoughts on NXT Takeover London. This was New Year Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate, and stay tuned for more.